Dome A is the highest, most remote point in Antarctica, a place where silence reigns supreme. Not metaphorical silence, but literal suffocating quiet. No birds, no wind, no life, just cold and ice and emptiness. The temperature here once dropped to minus 133 degrees Fahrenheit, the coldest naturally recorded temperature on Earth. It's a point so high and so cold that the air seems frozen in place, thick and still. The sun may rise, but it brings no warmth, just a faint, distant glow reflected off billions of frozen crystals that haven't melted in hundreds of thousands of years. In 2005, Chinese researchers began constructing Kunlun Station, a robotic outpost built to withstand the extremes of Dome A. Few people have ever been there. No one stays long. The station is automated, powered by solar panels that can go dark for months during the polar winter. But then, in 2011, something strange happened. Seismic monitors placed under the ice, not by China but by an international glaciological project studying deep crustal movement, picked up an anomaly, a rhythm, a pulse. It came from roughly 3.8 kilometers beneath the ice cap. Not a quake, not ice shearing. It was mechanical, patterned. The signal repeated every 16 hours, exactly, on the hour. When the anomaly was shared with data partners in the United States and Europe, access to the monitoring logs was quietly restricted. One researcher at an Australian university said their credentials to the shared server were suddenly revoked. Weeks later, Chinese state media announced a renewed investment into Dome A, citing scientific interest in glaciological anomalies. No mention of seismic data, no mention of the signal, and no official explanation. The source? Still unknown, but someone, or something, had just whispered from beneath Antarctica's dead heart. 2 years before the seismic anomaly, in 2009, an entirely different kind of mystery had emerged from above. The European Space Agency's Cryosat-2 satellite, designed to measure changes in polar ice thickness, detected unusual radar reflections beneath the East Antarctic ice sheet. Initially dismissed as natural layering within the ice, the anomalies seemed to outline something far more artificial. A hexagon, 22 kilometers across, perfectly symmetrical, with straight edges that defied natural geologic processes. Further analysis by remote radar from NASA's Operation Icebridge confirmed the shape. Not only was the geometry consistent across multiple flight passes, but the anomaly seemed to produce focused radar backscatter. In simpler terms, it acted like a mirror, reflecting energy in a way that natural formations shouldn't. Scientists dubbed it Feature 27A in internal memos. One glaciologist at Columbia University described it in a declassified communication. It's as if someone carved a geometric foundation into the bedrock and then let the ice bury it. There are no volcanic processes in the vicinity. No meteorite impact sites, no known tectonic explanation, just a vast, ancient ice dome, and something that should not be beneath it. A leaked draft paper by a Chinese research team labeled the anomaly Station Zero. The term appeared briefly in metadata attached to a 2015 satellite pass, but was quickly removed in subsequent reports. The paper also mentioned something else: acoustic modeling. The structure, based on radar depth, seemed to curve inward, like a bowl or a shell. When simulated using wave mechanics, it focused sound waves toward a central point, an accidental amphitheater, or something more deliberate. And then came a second discovery, one the public never heard about. Sound was already coming from within it. Most people have never heard of infrasound. It's sound below the threshold of human hearing, typically under 20 hertz. We can't hear it, but we can feel it. It vibrates the body, agitates the nervous system. It's the frequency of earthquakes, of rocket launches, of avalanches, and sometimes other things. In August 2016, the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty Organization, CTBTO, recorded a brief but powerful infrasound event from one of its southern hemisphere arrays. It wasn't a nuclear test nor an explosion, but it registered with the same energy signature. Triangulation pointed to a single chilling location, Dome A. The waveform was analyzed by infrasound experts in Vienna. What they found shocked them. It wasn't random. It had symmetry, structure. What one analyst called geometric information encoded into pressure. In other words, it wasn't a natural signal, and it wasn't a one-time event. After scrubbing past infrasound logs, they found a pattern. The signal had repeated, weekly, several times over the prior 6 months, always from the same location, always following the same profile. A sound too deep to hear, but perfectly shaped to transmit. Was it a beacon? Was it a warning? Or was it a reply? In 2018, China, Russia, and Australia jointly initiated a project they called ECHO Protocol. The mission, on paper, was to perform deep ice acoustic tomography of the Antarctic bedrock, essentially, to send sound pulses into the ice and listen for reflections. But Echo Protocol wasn't about geology. Internal documents described the goal as subglacial resonance mapping. A 300-kilowatt low-frequency transmitter was hauled to Dome A on an overland expedition. Over 2 months, the crew battled katabatic winds, whiteout conditions, and frostbite, but the mission succeeded. The transmitter was deployed. The first pulse was transmitted at 300 UTC on July 8, 2018. There was silence. Then, 2.7 seconds later, a return signal. It matched the original waveform, but it was inverted, as if the ice itself had mirrored the sound, or something inside it had done so. That night, the crew reported unusual static on their communications. GPS logs recorded minor but inexplicable location drift. And at 4:13 UTC, 1 hour later, the seismic recorders picked up a low, oscillating hum beneath the transmitter site. Within 48 hours, the project was shut down. All data servers were removed from the station. All team members were flown out. No official report was released. No peer-reviewed paper was ever published. Only one internal memo, partially leaked by a Russian technician, contained this chilling sentence: "We do not believe the response was geological. The signal was reactive." Since the shutdown of Echo Protocol, Dome A has gone dark. Chinese satellite transmissions from Kunlun Station ceased in January 2023. No new research has been shared. All attempts by independent researchers to approach the region have been denied access, but the signal has not stopped. In 2021, amateur astronomers operating a weather balloon in Patagonia detected infrasound patterns eerily similar to the 2016 pulse. The signal was faint, but the harmonic structure was identical. They tried to publish. Their servers were breached, files deleted, hard drives seized during a customs inspection. Still, others were listening. A retired military communications specialist from Chile, operating under a pseudonym, claimed to have decoded partial structure in the signal. He published a crude spectrogram in early 2022 with a simple message: "It's not noise, it's code." No one has seen or heard from him since. Today, the anomaly beneath Dome A remains sealed beneath 4 kilometers of ice. The hexagon, the signal, the resonance chamber, all buried under frozen silence. But that silence may not be passive. What if the structure is not just receiving? What if it's waiting? Or worse, what if it has already heard us, and it is responding? The signal from beneath Dome A has not stopped. It repeats, every 16 hours, measured, deliberate, but no one dares answer it. And yet, Dome A may not be the only place whispering from under the ice. Thousands of kilometers away in a forgotten corner of East Antarctica, a gravitational disturbance has begun to stir. It is older, larger, and far more dangerous. Not a signal, not a transmission, but a presence, one that has not spoken in hundreds of thousands of years, until now. In our next episode, we travel to Wilkes Land, where something buried deep beneath the ice is waking up.